to Everything Irie TV UK Drama Special Edition, and this is season 1. On this podcast, we will be talking to drummers who have made impact in gospel and secular. Some have played for well-renowned artists, some are even artists themselves. Today, my guest has played for the likes of Jessie Ware, Craig David, Jessie J, Dua Lipa, Ella Air, Dave, Sam Hopkins. Please welcome Adam Smiley Wade. What's happening, brother?
What's good, man? You alright?
I'm good. How are you, man?
Cold too.
Good, man. Yeah, no, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know you've been on tour, just came back from a tour. So I know you've been super busy. So thank you for taking the time out to be here. You know what I mean? You've been doing this a little while. You're young, but you've been doing this for a little while now. You know what I mean? And so I want to get into your journey. I want to get into everything. You know what I mean? So how did you get into drumming? What was it about the drums that you were like, I want to do that? I don't want to play no other instrument. I want to play the drums.
To be honest, like the first early signs of drumming for me was when I was about 2 or 3 years old. I think, I don't know if it was like crayons or like chopsticks or something like that, but my parents had seen that I was tapping maybe, I don't know, maybe pots of pans or something like that. And yeah, it was like, oh, there's a bit of rhythm there. So my dad stops the music, puts the music back on, and then I join back in. He's like, that's a bit unusual. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not just tapping, like tappy. Like, it's just that there's something going on here, and it's like, it seems to be like methodical. So they just nurtured it. It might be a bit crazy to say, because obviously as a 2-year-old, they're probably thinking like, well, people might be thinking, why would you do that? Like, how would you know to nurture that thing specifically? But whatever I showed to my parents that in like being a young kid, they nurtured that, and then it just went from there. Having an older brother as well, who's 4 years older than me, who was kind of interested in drums as well.
Okay.
That helped too, probably, because then when he was doing like, I don't know, his banging away as well, then at least I could be like, oh, that's interesting. Can you show me how to do that as well? And that developed into going to church and seeing the drummers at church, and then it just kind of snowballed from there, I'd say.
So what, did you have a drum kit in your house then because your brother played?
I don't think we had a drum kit in the house, but there's pictures of like kids' chairs. So like, if this is the seat of the chair and then the backrest,
Yeah.
and then this is the backrest and the seat of the chair going out that way, you put it that way here, so then that's like the snare drum, and then the back of that.
Yes, yeah.
So there's like a picture of me and my brother. Like I'm sat down. I think I might be sitting on his lap, or he's behind me anyway. And I'm using the like a fake 10-pin from the bowling. So I've got one in each hand, and I'm kind of like, that's the snare and that's a hi-hat, playing like this. And there was a little tractor kind of thing, or like I don't know what you'd call that. One of them kids' toys where you can put the car through and it kind of...
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So that was like the ride and the stuff, you know what I mean? So it was just very innovative. Like, we'd be going like, that's a snare.
Had to be creative, yeah, of course.
Yeah, be like this, and then I'll be the ride over there. And that was everything. And then obviously the back of the chair there, so that's just the tom, sag.
Yeah.
So it was quite cool. And yeah, that was like the early signs. And then my parents obviously got me like one of those little drum kits. I feel like I've seen a picture of you with this kit, but I could be wrong. But you had that kit with the stars?
Yes, yeah.
Yellow hoops.
Yellow, yes, yeah.
So
Yellow and black.
Yeah, with all the stars on.
Yeah.
So I had that as well.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It might be from Arcos or
Yeah,
Toys
yeah.
R Us or one of them shops there.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
of course.
obviously I've got like, what was it, like probably 2 toms, a snare and a floor tom, but
Yes.
that's all coming off of the bass.
Yeah. There's somewhere in the middle. Bro?
So I had that, and I got a picture of me with that. So, you know, I had the chairs, and then I had that kit. And then like, I don't know, maybe when I was like 5 or 6 or something, I was a bit older, my parents brought us a drum kit, and my brother would have been probably 10. So he was a bit obviously better than me at the time. He can reach the pedals there a bit.
Yeah.
So I'd be like sitting on the edge of the seat like this.
Yeah, of course.
Standing up.
Struggle as well, bro.
Yeah. So that was the vibe. But yeah, that was kind of our little introduction into drums. And then I've always been going to church anyway. But with the whole drumming thing and going to church and understanding as I got older, I was like, oh my gosh, like, whoever's playing at church is amazing. Then there'd be like, there's a guy called Keith Moses that was playing there, and there was a guy called Andre Affady that was playing there. Justin Affledy's brother played drums as well, but he also a phenomenal keyboard player. And you also had Dwayne Affady, so the three brothers, and their dad was the bishop. But yeah, they all played drums at some point. I think Andre probably was the one who really went for it, and that was like my hero as a little kid. Like, I loved Andre so much. Everything Andre did, I wanted to do.
Is he still playing?
He still plays now, but like not as much like as he probably did before. But I think he's just life is just, having its way, whatever, and he's doing his own.
Life is life.
Yeah, like he's just doing his own thing. You know what I mean? He's not like fixated on drums. But when we was younger, it was like I couldn't believe it. I was like, Andre Affady is the guy.
Yeah.
And like, he just knew everything. In my head anyway, do you know what I mean? At the time, like, he knew how to do the chops, he knew how to do like the pocket, he just had it all.
He had it all.
And like, me being this young kid and him being like, maybe it was
fascinating.
Yeah. And I was like, wow. So it just forced me, anything he could do, I wanted to do it.
Of course, yeah.
So then, obviously, me being like, I don't know, like maybe 10 years younger than him or 8 years, I don't know. But whatever it was, there was a bit of a gap. But I was not letting myself be, what's the word? I didn't want to be not as good as he was. So even though he was 10 years older than me, I was like, I don't care. If he can do it, I need to be able to do it.
Yeah, no, of course. No, that's good.
And then I used to push myself to be like as good as Andre. I was like, I used to be as good as Andre. I was fascinated with Andre and I just needed to be as good as he was. But obviously that was great because then I'm this little kid that is playing as good as someone who's like 10 years older than me.
Wow. And you're determined, man.
Yeah, of course. And I've always known what I was going to do. I knew where I was heading. And yeah, Andre really got me focused on a lot of great things and opened my mind to a lot of great musicians.
Yeah.
Like he used to have the Dennis Chambers, I think.
And the PCR.
Yeah, I think he had Dennis Chambers' Serious Moves, which was the first VHS.
VHS.
And then later on, my parents got me the Dennis Chambers In the Pocket. And then Andre had the David Garibaldi VHS.
Oh,
and those
yeah.
So like he had those V's and he'd let me borrow them and I'd be fixated on them and then my parents would buy me different ones as well. So all of that just really helped. But Andre was like very instrumental in helping me to like, I don't know, open my mind to a lot of different musicians, well, specifically drummers.
Yeah.
He also had Akira Jimbo.
Oh, I forgot about him. Yeah, the Chinese guy. Yeah.
So like he had that, and it was just like amazing. Like I don't know, it just opened my musical plethora or musical mind to a massive plethora of different music.
From a young age, man.
Yeah, it's good. Because then it wasn't just like gospel. You know what I mean? It was radio and I didn't want to open. And then as I got older, I'd be like, oh wow, this rock drum is amazing, or this fusion drum is that, this jazz drum is amazing. I was already like interested in a lot of different genres, which was really cool.
This was before YouTube, man, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Borrow your friends VHS, like
yeah.
On a Sunday, I'd be like, oh, Andre, can you bring that Dennis Chambers? Yeah, sweet.
As you can see, I've got this lovely t-shirt here, as well as others. Tracksuit, jumpers, t-shirts, you name it. If you want to get yours, just go to www.kingsimagedesigns.co.uk. And if you want a discount, just type Everything Irie for a discount. Walk in love, walk in grace, walk in fashion. Peace. So did you play to gospel records when you were younger? Because like for me, like I was fascinated with Ron Canoli. So on the Saturdays, I'll take my kit down. I'll be right in front of the TV playing to Ron Canoli.
Hey,
like, did you have moments like that when you played to like?
I mean, I did, but I think I was just so like fixated on these drum videos.
Yeah.
If I'm honest. So like, of course, I knew about the gospel. Like, I guess growing up, it would have been like the more obvious names like Kurt Franklin. It was very much American inspired for me.
Of course, yeah.
So it'd be like, Kurt Franklin or Fred Hammond or because remember, Hezekiah Walker, like we had the Wow Gospel 98.
Oh, Wow Gospel, yeah.
So I feel like that Wow Gospel 98 was like it was a great VHS, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think the first song on there was Hezekiah Walker. Jesus My Help. I think
Jesus is my help.
Yeah. So like that was like a first song and like, some of the feels that the drummer was doing on there, I was just like, yo, I need to know that.
Yeah.
And then like I can't remember the order of all the songs, obviously, but like,
Yeah, John B. Key on there as well.
yeah, and like Donald Lawrence and Fred Hammond and like loads of people was on there. And yeah, like I just used to try and steal some of the feels and the chops from like off of there, and also just try and understand, I don't know, why someone might have done that particular feel there. And so that was like kind of the gospel, and then obviously the UK gospel scene at the time. Well, not at that, maybe not 98, but obviously as I got better.
Yeah, cool.
You had the Ecclesias, you had the Company, you had Matthew Allen, who else? I mean, there was a bunch of people, you know.
Yeah.
Raymond and Co. Like amazing. The Playing Games album is probably still one of my favorite UK
Oh yeah, easily.
ever.
Easily.
You play it now, it's still very relevant. Still sound straight. Yeah, like I loved it. So yeah, there was a heavy gospel influence, of course, but it's just that I think when I wanted to play drums, I'm putting on Dennis Chambers.
Yeah, of course.
And also because I had like this, my parents weren't like super strict with like, oh, you can only listen to gospel, you can only that.
Yeah,
So it was
quite
quite,
open-minded.
yeah, they were open minded, and I had the Spice Girls live at Wembley Stadium VHS, and I used to like playing to that a lot. Like
Spice Girls, but
yeah, like Andy Gangadine, all those guys. Fergus Gerrand, I think his name is, on percussion. Like, you know, I think Simon Ellis was there, and as like it's just
it's the MD, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but and the bass, Stevenson, I believe his name is, or Pete, one of them. They're brothers, but anyway, one plays the bass. I think he's sadly passed away, rest in peace. But like, you know, amazing band, like amazing, and it was just a great performance. And again, it was something different to gospel, but it made me like want to just play. And it's like, at no point did Andy Gangadine start just going off and a mad thing. It was always just what was required.
Yeah, what was required. Yeah, I heard the parts.
Yeah, and it was, but it was tasteful, do you know? Like it wasn't like he had some nice fills like to set up different sections and whatever, but it never was like, oh, you're doing too much. It was just always nice. And when you're playing a stadium as well, you don't want to be like flazing out too much.
Yeah.
Because it might not, it may translate, but it may not, you know? So you have to just do what's appropriate for the music. So I used to love playing to that Spice Girls DVD, and I got a little bit older. I really liked playing to the Usher 8701 DVD. Well, Spice Girls was VHS. Yeah. Usher was DVD. And that Usher like gig, I can listen to that now and probably like still know all the drum moments and everything because I just loved it so much. Right?
Yeah.
Big Mike Clemens, amazing.
He's a man.
Yeah, and even Usher live prior to that one with Brian Fraser Moore, again amazing. Like Brian is probably everyone's hero. Do you know what I mean? He is amazing. So yeah, there was a few like key things. There was a bunch of drum VHSs that I spent a lot of my time watching. A bunch of live shows I spent my time watching. Destiny's Child. This was a bit older, but Destiny's Child did like a Love and Fulfilled or something like that.
Is this when Gerald wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like I think it was like their last tour.
Yes, yeah.
They did, and they made a DVD. That I used to watch all the time, and then like any Beyonce show, Mary J. Blige shows, because obviously by this time now YouTube is like a little bit more out.
Yeah.
There's a lot more on YouTube, so you know, watching Gerald Hayward do No More Drama with Mary J. Like he'd be there, and then once he gets going, because there was one feel that he used to do. I can't remember. It was going into a chorus or something after a breakdown, and then I just remember him going scab.
Yeah. The famous lick. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, yeah. But the way he dropped it, I was like, oh my gosh.
He plays so much flair and passion and attitude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love that.
And I was just like, wow. So then obviously all these things over the years, I've grasped like little bits of so much. I've grasped a lot of playing what's required, not what's desired, which is a line that Valerie Bailey like always used to say to me all the time. And if you don't know Valerie, I'm sure you do, and you do. But
Yeah.
if you don't know Valerie Bailey, then
To know.
get to know. But you know, he over the years he always just say to me like, you know, just play what's required, not what's desired. And it's such a good phrase because playing what's required, not what's desired, doesn't mean that you can't play chops. It just means that if it's appropriate for the music, then do it. Do you know what I mean? Because people might think, oh, okay, well, then we only just play straight then. It's like, well, no, because you might need to give a little bit more at this section.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, just
You have to be clever, like, okay, is that sensible to
Yeah.
that there? You know what I mean? If you
it'd be intentional. Just be like, this is what I'm gonna do here, and then like you know why you've done it. It could be because it's following the vocal, it's following something that the bass is doing or something. You know what I mean? Or you're doing it because you're trying to lift the section because of the section that we're about to go into. There could be so many different reasons. Or the MD could just say, "Oh, can you do this, please?" You know what I mean?
and just just see what works, isn't it? If it doesn't work, I'm sure the artist will say, nah, maybe not. Or the MD might say, can you do something else? You know what I mean? And they will just let you know.
I'll figure it out, and like I always like, I mean, I'm kind of going to another question, answering something else here, but just in terms of playing what's required, not what's desired, a lot of that is just knowing what you're going to play in rehearsal. So for me, like all of the guys around me, I always would say to them, like, I'm going to go in and I'm going to already have an idea of how I'm going to execute this song.
Yeah.
So I know I'm going to do this here, even if that's just like a little on the splash.
Yeah.
It's small, but I know I'm going to do that here.
Right there, yeah.
And then at this section here, I'm going to do this fill. So then I already know
And your sections.
yeah, I've already planned my sections, so I can play it. If I have to play it the same every night, I can do that because I've already preempted everything I'm gonna do. But I've gone into the rehearsal with an idea of how I'm gonna execute each song, and then obviously once we get to rehearsals, I can refine what I'm doing and make sure the MD is happy with what I'm doing, and it makes musical sense and everything. But I can play that every night because I've already marked out all of my fills, and that's another thing that I learned from Vera. He would be like mark your fills so that you're not just always just blazing it down and someone says, I really like that one that you did, and you're like, oh, I don't know what it was. Like I kind of have an idea of what I did, and I can be like, oh yeah, it's intentional. Obviously sometimes you don't need to worry about marking down fills, just mark down the section. So like everyone knows, oh well, in this one bar Smiley's probably going to do a fill, but at least everyone is clear on what I'm doing,
so it doesn't get in the way of other musicians.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So like everyone knows that this section, these 2 bars or this bar and a half or whatever it is, it's
play after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you want to join in, then do something that you think is going to complement what I'm going to do.
Yes.
If you think you know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But like, majority of the time, like for most of my gigs, it's people not only doing this section, and the guitarist, he's going to do, or she, whatever, is going to do in their section. And everyone just knows, so you can respect each other within the music. But yeah. Anyway.
No, of course. So I know you mentioned Velway. Was there any other local musicians that you looked up to like growing up that helped you?
There was a guy called Stephen Hepburn who was playing bass and he was doing his thing and he was great. Dominic Hay, he was playing keys, he was great. I mentioned Keith Moses as well. He's like the High Wycombe OG. Like he was playing drums first. I think he was one who actually maybe got the VHS of Dennis Chambers and gave it to Andre. And then Andre then met me after, you know what I mean? So he was kind of like the guy. So yeah, those are the guys in like High Wycombe. Then I came to a church in London, and that's where Vera was playing. I think the first time I came to something in London that I remember, I think Vera might have been playing bass, Jerry Brown was playing drums, Andrew Smith was playing guitar, Nicky Brown was playing Hammond. I think Mark Walker was on keys. Yeah, like it was, so it was a church conference, and like I just remember being there like, oh my gosh. And like I remember because it was around the time that I think anyway, this was like one of the first times that I heard Israel Houghton, Lord You Are Good.
Oh,
so right, them playing this at this church conference with that band. And I was looking at my brother, and me and my brother were like, oh my, like these guys are just killing it.
Yeah.
And it was just so inspirational. And me and my brother was like so inspired. And then, we came back to Wycombe and we was just like, yo, guys, like, these are playing, they did this and the drummer did this.
We need to step our game up. Yeah.
Eventually, over time, like, I don't know, a few years later, my family ended up moving to that church in London. That's just where we were permanently. And I met so many people. I met well, different people. I was quite young at the time, so like different people came through that church just because of the nature of Velroy and like some of the guys that I mentioned having been down there. People would come by and play. So Donovan Hepburn would have been there. Peter
Wow.
Matthews, yeah, like just to play. They weren't necessarily members, but like they'd come and play if they had a free Sunday and there wasn't a drummer. So like Donovan Hepburn would have come through. Peter Matthews came through. Uh, I remember seeing Breakbeat playing with Raymond and Co at one of the church conferences. Ginger played there. Smooth played there. And then time down the line, Emily Menglide was there. Joey Grant was there. Rest in peace.
Yeah, that's
One of our idols there. Jesse Grant. Who else is there? Josh McKenzie. How could I forget Josh? Josh was there. McNasty. But yeah, like so many different people over the
and man.
across the years, just so many different people would have come through.
So was it pressure for you when you first played that church?
Oh wait, sorry. One last.
Go on.
It's Dexter.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Like, because like it was like literally every time someone was there, someone else would come in, and then the next person, the next one, and it was just like a great environment for me, because I'm there like every Sunday, and I'm like, I wonder who's playing this week, and then this person would turn up. I'd be like, wow, this person's amazing. So I got to see like all those guys that I mentioned and many more that I've probably forgotten.
You were exposed to like good drumming from
like
young age.
a kid. I was very fortunate, and I was very attentive. That I was always happy to, like you said, was it pressure? It was. Well, I wouldn't say it was pressure, mainly because I didn't feel that I needed to play. So I used to use the time to just watch. I was just so fixated on learning that I never thought, oh, I need to come in and play. Like, how come this one's playing or that? Like, I was just like, I'm good.
Let me humble myself and listen.
Yeah. All I wanted to do was set up the drums for them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd be there every Sunday, like setting up the drum kit, set up keyboard, bass. Like, me and some of the other guys, like, we'd be there every week, just setting up and just wanting to be in that environment. When there was like church band rehearsals, I wasn't playing, but I just wanted to be there, so I can be so close to everything and learn, because that was just something I was just so excited for. And then I did eventually play youth service, and then maybe like one Sunday the drum was, I don't know, maybe whoever was playing was running late, so they'd be like, oh, Smiley, can you come and play for like the first song until the drummer gets there? So then I'd play one song, and I think one Sunday, I think I must have just been quite confident now, because I'm like, I've seen all these guys come in over the years. Like, I'm been practicing at home. Like, I'm kind of nice. So then I just went and played, and I think everyone was just kind of like, rah, like he's obviously done his homework, and that kind of just then allowed for me to be in the mix now. Yeah, so I was like, oh well, if so and so's not here, then it's fine. Smiley will play. So and so's not here, that's fine. Smiley will play. So then eventually it became the thing where it's like, oh well, it doesn't matter because Smiley's here every week, so he might as well just play. So then I became the drummer in the church, and yeah, it's great.
Wow.
But as many years of watching that, like I said, Jerry Brown did a few of the conferences at Catford Broadway Theatre, and then Gareth Brown we did Wembley Conference Centre. It doesn't even exist anymore, but we had Wembley Conference Centre, and Gareth was there, and obviously not obviously, but I've known Gareth since I was a little kid, since I was like, I don't know, 6, 7 or something like that. And to this day, he's still one of my closest friends. So yeah, that's a brother, man.
Yeah, of course. Wow. Because one of the things I was going to say is, one of the things that people don't talk about is paying your dues. You've paid your dues. Setting up the drum. People don't talk about this. Because I used to do the same thing, where set up the drum kit, and you're just there, you're just watching the drummer who I had at my church, and there was 2. So Charlene's dad, Charlene Goodwood, her dad used to play drums.
Okay.
And there was a drummer called Philip. He was the main drummer. So Philip is Bishop John's brother-in-law.
Okay.
Yeah. He was an absolute animal. Absolute, like, in the midweek service, he's going through the kick drum. Like, he was just going, like, every week, he was just going for it.
Yeah.
But listen, I'll be there early because my dad was the assistant master. So I'll be there early. I'll set up the kit. Just watch. The sticks are here, sir. You know what I mean? And just watch. So you paid your dues. You know what I mean? So people say, yeah, oh, yeah, Adam, you're doing all of this. You paid your dues, man. You know what I mean?
Honestly,
Watch, learn, listen. So
yeah, your time will come. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing better than sitting in an environment that is with amazing musicians. Like even now, I will go and see my friends in rehearsals, or I'll pay to see, I don't know, something at the Jazz Cafe or Ronnie Scott's or whatever it is. Like a lot of the things that I go to see now is like, look, the fusion guys like John Onabobu. I think he's just a phenomenal drummer. Or like Locks.
Yeah,
I'm sick. And like I'll go to see their events at like Peter Express or Ronnie Scott's or whatever, and then I see like what they're doing. I'm just like, I'm like blown away because they're just all amazing at what they do. But then, you know, we've got like Dexter does some of his own shows sometimes. And I think Dexter's one of my heroes, and I'll go and check out what he's doing. But also, I like to see artists that are not drummers, you know. So like Insight, again, he's a keyboard player that lots of like his events, or like I'll just try and just see as much as I can because it's inspirational to me.
Did you go to a music school?
No music schools for me, unfortunately.
You're self-taught then?
I'm fully self-taught, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so just ear training.
Yeah. So why didn't you go to music school, if you don't mind me asking? Or did you feel maybe not? Or did you want to like pursue something else?
Well, to be really honest, when I was younger, growing up in the area that I did, which is in Buckinghamshire, I never really felt other than Andre, Justin, and Dwayne. I was like, I don't know anyone else here that's like super duper amazing at drums. So I never felt that like pushed, and I was always just like, well, if I go to learn from somebody to teach me to read or whatever now, especially after having been that kid that I was telling you about earlier that was young, wanting to be as good as Andre, and Andre was like 18, well, maybe like 16 or whatever. He was doing his thing. I'm this little kid trying to chase everything that he's doing.
Yeah.
For me, I'm like, now you want me to go and learn from someone who's going to be like, mummy, daddy, or whatever it is. And I'm just like, and it's not that it's at the time as a kid, you know, you have to remember that someone needs to teach me something that's really inspiring at this point, because I'm, in my head, I feel like I'm so far down the line that if you drag me back to that might ruin my passion for drums. Do you know what I mean? So I was just always like, nah, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing now. I just have to get really good at listening. In hindsight, I'm a little bit annoyed that I didn't learn to read as a child, because I'm having to like do it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm glad that I also just did what I did, because I think that it's just helped with me as a person, as a drummer or whatever. Because I really wanted it, so I went for it. So there's no like formal training. The most I've ever done was in lockdown. My friend Eleanor Costa, she's a female drummer, amazing. I used to get lessons from her, and that was great. So thank you, Eleanor. Yeah. But yeah, she used to give me lessons. And also
in reading or just
no, in reading, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then I'd get help from different people around, which was obviously really helpful. I just ask questions here and there to different people that I know that read. But Eleanor was the one person who would give me an hour or two a week and just be like, oh yeah, like this is how you read this, and that was really helpful. So I probably should pick those up again, to be honest, because they were really helpful, and it just helped to have someone there who is a good drummer. I think that's, for me, like if I could, I would pay Brian Fraser Moore or Teddy Campbell to teach me to read.
Yeah.
Because I love those guys. You know what I mean? Or Rex Hardy, like, or Nissan Stewart, like all these guys that read, when I watch them play, I'm still like jaw on the floor.
When I watch Teddy Campbell and obviously he's reading it, you can, when he's playing, it's like that's Teddy Campbell. So he's still got his own sound, but
Yeah.
he's still reading.
Exactly.
That's why he's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I would like my teacher, whoever it is, to be great, but also I can understand that I need to just learn. So even if as long as they're a great reader, that's enough. But when I was younger, I just needed them to be amazing. Like, I wanted them to sit there and blaze the house down, and then be like, okay, look,
This is what you do, and this is of course.
well, if I hear them play and I'm like, yeah, but Andre is better than you. Yeah, you know what I mean? That was
It's not inspirational for you.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
as a kid. I'd be like,
yeah.
yeah, but if Andre came here, he'd dance
You
around
wipe the floor, yeah.
So then I was just like, it wasn't inspiring for me.
No, of course. I hear that.
I was a kid.
I hear that because obviously, like you were saying with like Teddy Campbell and Brian Fraser Moore, because okay, they can play, but when they need to read that chart, listen, they're gonna go for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like real far-fetched, yeah. But like my favorite drummer, I think if I had to choose one, is Vinny Colaiuta. I think that'd be like my number one. If he could teach me to read, great.
Can read.
Vinny, if you want to teach me to read,
Yeah, there, just holler. And me too. Vinny is just Vinny. No, Vinny's definitely one of my favorite drummers.
Yeah. Nah, Vinny's the guy.
Because when we was at Drum Tech, for some reason, all the teachers loved off Sting. So all the time we were hearing Sting songs.
Yeah.
And he was playing.
Really?
And we had to learn the 7 days, yeah.
Oh yeah, wicked.
And so in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, this is easy. And then I played it and it said, no, there's a couple of things you're missing. I'm like, what? I was playing it right. Because what is 7/8 or something like that? Isn't it? Is it 7/8?
I think it's on 5. Well, I think it's 5 in the verses.
2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Or 5, I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah. But I thought I was playing it all right.
I think it's 5.
Is it 5?
I think in the verse like
yeah. So in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, I can play it. So what happened is we played it with the bass player. We had a bass player that was he was our teacher for it's a class called PAW, Performance and Workshop or something.
Okay.
And so I'm thinking, they said, oh, who can play it? I said, yeah, man, I can play it. Got up there, fam. Yeah, I got dusted. It goes, mate, there's a lot of details that you're missing, mate. I was like, oh, when I listen back to it, the details, the splash work.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. Because I thought they were just saying it just for saying it. Saying, oh yeah, Vinny. I was like, okay, you know what I mean? Because obviously the two people that they mentioned a lot were Steve Gadd and Vinny. And, but at that time, I'm a big gospel chops head. So I'm not really watching for them, man. You know what I mean? I wasn't watching for them, man. So then when they showed me the 7th day and I listened to it properly, I'm like, this guy's detail is amazing. And then I've done more research about him. And when it comes to reading,
yeah.
You can literally put any book in front of him. And he's got it. It will just cool, done. And I was like, yeah, that's a professional drummer right there. So my question for you is, when was your first professional gig? What was that feeling like when you got the call or the email and they said, Adam, we want you to play this gig or tour?
Yeah.
What was that feeling like? Tell us about it.
I mean, the thing is, and I don't want to sound like I'm Mr. Know-It-All or Mr. Perfect, but because I was so hungry to be successful as a drummer, every time I got called to do anything, I was always like trying to put my best foot forward anyway. So like I would treat every gig as though I was playing a big gig. So when I was playing some of the smaller like gospel church gigs, I would still go to all the rehearsals knowing the song from start to finish like very well.
Yeah.
So then when I'd go to these rehearsals, the guys would be like, oh shoot, because a lot of the time I'm playing with like guys that are older than me. So they'd be like, "Oh, you've done your homework," innit? And so then them guys would have to like be like, "Oh, like," because we kind of skimmed it over quickly, but we were gonna figure it out in rehearsals. And like, a lot of the time, that was just how I was, and it's still is the case now. Like, I just listen to things keenly and find details. So I guess my approach was always professional, but in terms of like when I sent my first invoice, maybe, which is when you can say that it got real. I was working with an artist called Petite Miller, and he's like a French artist, and I was kind of playing percussion and SPD. I had like a glockenspiel as well, but like, yeah, that was kind of the vibe. I think I might have had that one crash or something. And again, Gareth Burnham, he hit me up and he said, "Oh, Smiley, I've got this gig. Would you be interested in playing?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, that I'd love to." And I think I was just come out of sixth form or something. So I was like, "Yeah, that I'd love to go and do it." So I played with that for maybe about 2 years or 2.5 years or something. And then my first like tour was with Lethal Bizzle.
Yeah.
I think even like I just love everything about him, and being a young guy and getting that call, I was just like really excited. But I think someone called me. Well, not I think. What happened? I was at home. I was chilling. I was like watching TV, whatever. And the phone rings, and someone's like, "Would you be interested in playing for Lethal B?" So I kind of was. I don't know why, yeah, but every time someone calls me, if they're not super clear, I ask. I'm like, "Oh, Lethal B," and they're like, "Yeah, Lethal B," and I was like, Lethal Bizzle. They was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Oh yeah, of course." But because they said Lethal B, I was like,
It could be anywhere.
and that's my thing. When people ask me things, if they say like, I don't know, imagine someone calls me up and says, "Oh, do you want to play for Riri?" I'm like, "Riri?" Like that could be Rihanna,
Yeah.
who I'd love to play for.
But or like Jessie J, Jessie Ware.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
like, but if you just say something in short, because you're used to calling that person by that. So when he said Lethal B, I was like, I mean, it could only really be one person, but maybe it's a new artist.
Just check.
And I'm a young kid.
Yeah, of course.
So in my head, I'm thinking, well, why would they call me from Lethal B? So I'm like, oh, what, Lethal Bizzle? And I was like, yeah. Oh no, I think I said Lethal B, and they was like, yeah, Bizzle. And I was like, oh, yeah. So anyways, that was like my first tour. Amazing. Myself, Joel Clark, just two drummers. Yeah, Frisky, DJ Frisky was there as well. So it was like myself, Joel, Frisky. And we was on like 10-foot risers. That's why I keep making like this, because he was down there. Us two was like, all the way up in the skies. And then Lethal. And yeah, that was a UK tour. Amazing. I absolutely loved that. And then we did V-Fest as well, which was probably one of the biggest festivals that I had done at the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was amazing. Such a great experience. And Joel Clark is just he's phenomenal. So he's so phenomenal. Like the way he plays and his execution, like his voicings, everything is just like
very detailed.
Very detailed, very different as well. So I really enjoyed that experience. And because I was young, I was like kind of holding back a lot, because whilst I was somewhat fearless, I also wasn't an idiot. So I was like, let me just play like the parts and play them well, but still put a little finesse in here and there.
Yeah.
And Wes was the musical director at the time, and he'd be like, "Oh no, like you could play a bit more," and I would, but it wasn't like the same as Joel, because Joel had a bit more experience than I had, and he also had amazing chops already. So when it was time for him to let off some steam, he really knew how to look.
Yeah.
But it was great, because then it was like a little bit of a, I don't want to say yin and yang, kind of like two different vibes. You know what I mean? I was kind of doing this thing, he's doing that thing, but we never really like got in each other's way, which was good.
Yeah.
Like we never clashed and was like, you're doing too much, or you're doing too much as well. So it just sounds like noise. It's like, well, if Smiley's kind of holding it down, Joel's just doing that.
Joel is not perfect. Yeah.
And also Joel helped me a lot, because we'd be playing, and like, because like I said earlier about, marking the gig, I knew the gaps that he was taking, and he knew the gaps that I was taking. But sometimes he'd be like, you do this one.
Yeah. Just give it a little nudge. Yeah.
It was encouraging, because it'd be like, now I'm gonna try and think of something to do. But it was nice, and so I'd do that, and then you know, in sound checks as well. Obviously, there's no like band to sound checks. So it's just me and him blazing out. Like, it was amazing. So that was like my first. Though my Petite Manor was like my first like professional gig. I sent invoice, so I get like, management. Woo. Then Lipa was my first tour, and then it all just kind of snowballed from there.
So, would you say it was from the first gig, the French gig that you done, where you were like, I think I can do this music thing full time, or was it from the Leaf4B where you're like, you know, I don't have to work nothing else. I don't have to do nothing else. I can actually do this music thing full time.
So for me, I would say that the most that I felt where I was like, I don't need to work wasn't Leaf4B. So I think when I was working for Leaf4B, I think I still may have had my job at a Chinese restaurant. So I used to work at a Chinese restaurant called Noodle Nation. I used to work at John Lewis. And so when I was in secondary school, I was kind of working between Noodle Nation and John Lewis.
In secondary school?
Yeah, like the end of like year 11. So when I was like 16, 17. So I got a job. As soon as I was able to get a job at 16, I worked at a Chinese restaurant. I was there for a little bit. Then when I got to sixth form, I got a job in John Lewis as well. So I used to work at Noodle Nation and John Lewis and then do gigs in between.
You're the man.
I need money.
You need money. Oh, no, of course.
Like, I've never been like lazy. In my head, I was like, well, if I'm going to work, I'm going to work, make money, and I'm going to do things.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, like, I buy little bits of, I don't know, a cymbal or snare drum or drum skins or drumstick, whatever it is. And over the years, you know, I accumulated good things because I worked for them. Then I went to university. I was still doing gigs and whatever else. What else happened after that? And then like 2018, I get a call. 2017, end of 2017, I get a call to go and cover some gigs for, again, Gareth Brown.
Yeah.
On Craig David, and I got a little bit ill, so I couldn't start as soon as I wanted. As soon as they initially said, which was like November. But then the MD called me in the new year and he goes, don't worry, like, this is an audition. You've got the gig. It's all good. Like, we just need you to come in when you're feeling 100%. So I was like, okay, perfect. Like, I really appreciate you not just like pushing me out.
Yeah.
So I came in, did the gigs. And then because Gareth had a lot of things going on with the gigs that he was doing anyway, it was like quite cool because they was just like, well, it'd be great if we can have Smiley whilst Gareth is still away. So then that's just basically what happened. So in his absence, I'd play drums. And then obviously time went on and he was still busy and it was just like, oh, I was just let Smiley carry on playing. So then over the years, Gareth and I have always just kind of, that's why sometimes he's playing, sometimes I'm playing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, it's just like Gareth is one of my heroes and one of my idols. That's family to me. I mean, we're not blood related, but like I've known him for so long, he's like family to me. So I'll always respect him and he would always like look after me and respect me. So there's a lot of trading of, oh, well, I can't do this. Do you want to do that? And it's nice. And it's not always these big gigs. It's sometimes things behind the scenes, functions and all these other like smaller things that people don't see. So we've got that thing going on, which is great. But yeah, I would say 2018, and because I was in commentary at this time,
you're living there?
I was in the commentary at this time because my brother, shout out Christian Wade, but you know, rugby player, went to NFL, back in rugby now. But 2018, I would say was when I was like, you know what, I don't think I really need to work. I can really channel working with Craig. He had a lot of work that year. And I was like, if I'm good with my money, you know, like we always say as musicians, finances, it's good to know.
I had to save.
You gotta know how to
Yeah,
save.
of course.
So 2018 was when I thought, I think that I'm good. Because if I wasn't good, I would have just carried on working. Do you know what I mean? That I think it's important to work whilst you're chasing your dream until your dream allows you to not have to work. But I don't think you should just chase your dream and not work. And then like when you ain't got no peas, you're like, you want to go out and you want to do these things. And you're like, oh, if I only got £30 or I'm in my overdraft. I'm like,
no, because you know what I like, Jeff, is I remember you posting this was during lockdown when you
it's Waitrose.
Yeah,
that's easy for me.
And look, there was one thing you said, I never forget. You was like, some of the artists that I worked for, didn't check for me. They're not my parents. I need to get money.
Yeah, no, yeah, that like Craig was with my dad.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know who I was playing, maybe LA I think I was playing with at the time, but I was like, Craig's not my dad, LA's not my mum, you know what I mean? Like, it's not,
I need to make money. Yeah, you know what I mean?
and to be fair, it's like, it's not their responsibility either to look after me. Do you know what I mean? Like,
If you are looking for a dynamic duo, quartet, or a full live band for your event, or if you are an artist and need musicians, then please contact us on www.musiciansforyou.co.uk.
that's like me turning around and being like, oh man, let me send some money to my electrician because he must be having a really difficult time in lockdown right now. Like, that, it's the same thing.
Yeah, just do a job.
They are paying me for a service and I do the service.
Do the job.
If I'm not doing them the service, why are they going to just be like, oh man, Smiley needs some money? Like, so that's why I'm just going to get a job. I have a CV. I have a musical CV, but I have a normal CV because, like I said, I had Noble Nation. I got John Lewis at the House Fraser. I've got this spa. I've got all these other things under my belt because I'm not lazy. Do you know what I mean? If I need to make money, I'll make money.
You make money.
So I've gone to these places to get work. So when it was time for me to get a job, like, don't get me wrong, for about 6-7 months, I did chill in lockdown. I was, well, not maybe not 6 months, but from like March or whenever it was that we went to lockdown until maybe like September, I was just kind of like, I just want to see how it goes because I had savings. So it allowed me to chill. You know what I mean? I wasn't broke. I had savings. And then we got to like September, October, and I was like, maybe I should like look at getting a job. Well, I don't really know how this is going to go. So I got a job and I was like, it's a temp one anyway, but for an agency doing like frozen foods, and it's obviously freeze it,
Of course.
taking all this, and it's in Waitrose. It's a bit bougie, you know what I mean? And it wasn't in my area either because I wasn't going to work in my area. Not because I have an ego, but I don't want to be seeing people that I know and having the same conversation. Like, you know, Mo Six.
Yes.
So like, me and him used to like, listen, I love that guy. He one of my favorite guys. Like, I love his drumming, but also just as a person, I can call me and Mo speak on the phone for hours, and there'll be like the most random phone calls. I haven't spoken to him for like 2 months or something, and then he'll just call me or I'll just call him, and we'll be on the phone for like hours, just chatting, laughing.
I'll type Mo Slicks, man.
It's like, he's an amazing person and he's an amazing drummer, always working as well.
Yeah.
But like, he was also working in lockdown, and I remember me and him talking in lockdown. He was just like, it's like, if I bumped into people that I knew in my area, it's like, we all know we're in a pandemic, and they'll be like, oh, you working here? And they'll be like, what happened, man? And then I'll be like,
I'm just trying to get money.
I'm trying to get paid.
Yeah.
Because
I was doing deliveries as well.
yeah, no,
You know what I mean?
I can't work. I actually can't work. Like, there's nowhere for, I need to play.
No like gigs.
No girls.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's just funny. Me and Mo was just laughing, being like, you know, everyone's gonna be like, what happened, man? So anyways, I was doing frozen foods, and then like later on there was just like, I got to like near Christmas, and the store manager was like, do you drive? And I was like, yeah. So he was like, oh well, why don't you apply for a job, because we're looking for someone to do delivery driving. So I was like, yeah, sweet. Because for me that means no more frozen foods, chilling in the car while the man,
Everywhere in your own time.
yeah, excuse me, like just loading up the trays and a thing, and then doing all the deliveries. So I'm out for like 5 hours anyway. Then I come back and the shift's done. So I wasn't doing a mad thing either. I was doing like 15 to 20 hours a week because I didn't want to be there all the time, because I know I wanted to be going there, just be bringing the light, you know, just come through, be nice to everyone and be
Smiley.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Yeah.
come in, come out. Like, I don't want to be there and thinking, it's another long day where, like, when you're just breaking yourself. Like, oh yeah, like sometimes I did more hours to pick up the extra shifts or more money, but like I was there for about 10 months. Then I went into rehearsals with Ella Air and Craig David. And then my first gig out of lockdown was at Penfest, which is in High Wycombe, yeah, which is obviously my hometown. So loads of people that would have been in attendance, so a lot of people that I've grown up with or like known Ayon or my family or whatever. And yeah, I was playing with Ella Air at one slot, and then maybe like there was someone in between, and then I played in Craig David after to headline. So that was really cool because it's like, playing with both artists, obviously 2 different drum kits.
So yeah.
And in my hometown, I was like, this is great. Oh man.
And the first gig after lockdown.
First week after lockdown, like honestly, I was flying. I loved it. My parents were there as well. Like, yeah, just all of these things, it means a lot to me, you know. Like we have my parents there. I don't think my brother was here at the time because he was in America.
Yeah.
It fell, so he couldn't be here. But like, yeah, it's great.
Wow. Because one thing I was gonna say, just picking up on your point, some people think, oh no, I can't work another job because I don't know if they feel embarrassed or they feel like, no, just the music thing. Because there was a point, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, nah, I don't want to do that, man. You know what I mean? It'll look cool. You just want to just do the drumming thing, and then you get to a point, it's like you're looking at your wallet, it's like, yo, I can't even afford a Happy Meal. Like, you know what I mean? And then I was like, you know what, bro, you got to work, man. So I was doing a lot of things here and there, you know what I mean, just to get money. So for some of the viewers that are watching, there's nothing wrong with working another job. If the gigs ain't paying, do something else as well. There's nothing wrong with doing that. It ain't gonna look at you different. If anything, I give more respect. You know what I mean? Get your money. You can still practice. You can still rehearse when you have time. You can still do your gigs. We ain't gonna look down on you. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, you need your piece to get equipment.
I believe that it's quite a silly mentality.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion. I don't think anybody else. Like, why should anybody sit around and just keep waiting and waiting and waiting on this dream to become a reality when you can still make your dream a reality and work? Like, it doesn't hinder anything. Do you know what I mean? And I'm proof to that. I've worked until I didn't have to work.
Yeah.
So now I only have to focus on music. Do you know what I mean? Like, but and in my career, where I was and when lockdown happened, I was still working with like known artists, you know. Up until then, I worked on some stuff with Dave. Like the first time I did Jules Holland was with Dave, and that was like ages ago. And it was myself and then Fraser T. Smith on guitar.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember the guys. There was a guy on cello. Or I think there's a guy and a girl on cello. I can't fully remember the whole setup, but I know it was myself, Emlyn, Fraser T. Smith, and Dave. And then there were BVs. I think it might have been Vicky and Mike Howe. Vicky told him Mike Howe, but I'm really racking my brains. That 2017, I can't fully remember.
Yeah.
But if you go and look on Dave 2017, Jules Holland, you'll see.
Yeah.
So we did that, which was really cool. I'd worked with like AJ Tracy. Yeah, it's like a live lounge. I'd covered Matty Brown. Obviously, Matty's one of my favorite drummers.
Yeah,
I would tell you, he's phenomenal. Matty asked me to cover him when he was doing, I think, the drum show. He was doing that, and I thought, obviously, it's an amazing achievement to did featured on that.
Yeah.
So he was just like, "Oh, can you cover me on this Stormzy's live lounge?" I was like, "Yeah, of course. Anything to help. That's my bro." So helped him out with that. So then I was like, put the Stormzy thing on there. I'd done some stuff with this 80s band called 5 Star. I'd done some stuff with Justin Brown. So like, I'd done some cool stuff, and Craig David, and you know, all these LA. Oh no, LA wasn't until after lockdown. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I'd done some decent stuff. The one thing that was quite cool that I did as well, which was there was a band called Danity Kane that was formed
from America. Yeah, not Danity Kane. Yeah.
something like that.
From Diddy's group. Yeah. I know you didn't want to say the name.
Fashionable,
Yeah.
popular, but you know, whatever. Yeah, they're sensitive. Yeah, but anyways, Dawn Richards was one of the singers, and she went on her own solo project. She was coming over to England, and myself, Vilroy on bass, and Mark Walker, we played.
Oh wow!
I don't know if there was a guitarist. I don't think so. I think it was just us three.
Yeah.
And her. And that was a really cool thing to do. And I just threw that in there because it's just like quite random, but it was also just I was quite young at the time, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's out from America, right. Yeah, it's like quite cool. But anyways, I'd worked with all these different people, and I thought, like, my career's kind of going well. Obviously, the Lethal B thing I mentioned, Petite Miller, a couple of gospel artists as well. I was fortunate and very grateful to have worked with Ecclesia, and yes, the company, because I've seen them with like Gareth and Ginger and all these other guys, Octave, all these amazing guys playing with these groups, and I was like, I just one day let me play,
Yeah, chance, man. Yeah, chance. Yeah.
The chance came, and so having all these experiences, I'm like, wow, I'm so blessed. Like God's been good to me.
Yeah.
Then we get to lockdown, and it's like, oh my gosh, like now I've got to dig out my CV and
Yeah.
go and like apply for it.
Work, yeah,
I want
yeah.
Indeed looking. I'm like, I still to do this.
Of course, especially when you've been on the mountaintop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm like, man, things are going so well. I'm climbing up the mountain.
Yeah, you're climbing.
I'm just like, yo, like, please, like, I don't want to have to do this, which is why it took me time to start. But then I was like, my ego's not gonna get in the way of like making money. That's stupid, and legally as well. I'm not gonna go do any foolishness. So,
Of course.
yeah, I go out there, get a job, and I was like, man, it's humbling.
Very.
But I also thought that with my experiences and the people that are around me and what I've been able to do, I'm like, it's really nice. But I just thought, let me go to this place, work. No one really knows what I'm about. Over time, some people found out, especially I think the first thing someone found out was they said, like, Wade, your surname's Wade. And someone was like, are you not related to Christian Wade, the rugby player, are you? And I was like, who's Christian Wade? I was like, I've got a sister. I don't. There you go, guys. It's me and my brother are the only siblings. So I'm like, I got a sister, and then he was like, oh, okay. And I was like, he goes, oh, because there's a guy from the Royal Grammar School. Well, he went to the Royal Grammar School, and he's like a great rugby player. Anyways, eventually I was like, nah, he is my brother, and he's like, what? Serious? Like he couldn't believe it. Like
He lost his mind.
He lost his mind. His name is Josh, but Josh was just like, oh my god, he couldn't believe it. And I was just like, yeah. But then obviously time's gone on, and then I think someone was talking to me about music, and I was like, oh yeah, I do some music, blah, blah, we go into it. So just to be nice, and this is a testament to how amazing this person is as well, I thought, you know what, I'm working this job, but I also am, playing drums for Craig. So I asked him, I said, just to bring people's spirits up a little bit, like, would you just do a quick video just to say like, Happy Christmas to everyone at Tame Waitrose, and just be like, have a great Christmas, like Happy New Year, all the rest, like just some nice words. Yeah. So on Christmas Day he sends me the video, and then I sent it into our like the staff kind of intranet thing. Yeah. And then they was all like, oh my gosh, wow. But I'm just like, to me it's just nice to be nice.
Yeah, of course.
They're just small things that are, well, it might seem like a small thing to me and a small thing to Craig, but to them that's like, wow,
big face.
So it's huge. And I was just like, I just want to spread love, innit? And just spread good vibes and have fun.
You do that, Adams, though. You know what I mean? Man. You do that.
So that was the vibe in lockdown. And then obviously we would come out, just hit the ground running. I was very blessed to do the LA thing, the Craig thing. Like, when was that? 2021? I don't know. I don't know what happened in 2021. No, I can't remember. But I know 2022 just got even better because then like I did I think we did 2021 I think I did like a tour with a small tour with Mimi Webb, a small tour with Ella. Then we started the year with finishing off Ella's tour. Then it just like sparked then like Louis Allen calls me and he's just like, would you like to come and play for Jessie J? And I was like,
of course.
When he called me and he said that, we're looking for a drum for Jessie J, I was just like, if there ever was a gig that I really, really, really want to play out of my whole life, it's this gig. Like all of us in England have always been like, Jessie J's gig has been like the gig.
Because you can actually play on that gig.
Yeah, because Jessie is one of the most amazing individuals in this world. Like, she's just, I love her to pieces. And the musical freedom that she allows on her gig is just out of this world. And I think, again, though, it's one of them things where you have to learn where to put in the sauce.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because you could just blaze across the whole thing, but like you choose your moments to make it most impactful and tasteful on what works with the music and everything.
Don't want to get in the way of the music as well,
Exactly.
Because she's got a powerful voice as well.
Yeah.
And she does a lot of stuff with her voice, and you don't want to get in the way of that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
So, and also as well, she has an expectation of everyone in the band. So it's not like it's just the drums that are going off, the bass player is going off, the guitarist is going off, everyone's going off. So you really have to work as a team to complement each other and like do a really good job. But I think that when I got that call, that was just like, that is like a bucket list for me. Like I've always wanted to work with Jess, and now that I got that opportunity, it's just it never gets like boring.
So was that your most memorable gig, do you think? Or
Yeah, well, there's a few, because like from that, like I did my first gig with her was like a private gig, which was amazing. And then we did like a European tour. I think in that year also, I did Eurovision with Sam Ryder, which was quite funny because it's quite a niche gig, you know.
yeah.
So that was quite memorable, like just to be a part of that whole moment. So that was cool. What else? Then I was fortunate enough to, so William Bauman, do you know WFB? He's a musical director, and you probably have seen his work because he's like one of the more known musical directors in the UK and now further afield. But William had asked, he's the one who put me on Ella Air, which was really very kind of him. Really appreciate that. Then he's asked for me to come and cover Samson Jatto on Jessie Ware.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay, amazing. Then I did a tour with Jessie Ware in America, which was like my first American tour. So that was so good. And obviously her music is a little bit different to some of the other stuff that I was doing, but I just thought it'd be great to go and do.
But you know how to adapt anyway. That's what I think about you. Like you know how to adapt to each gig.
Yeah, I think it's like when William called me, I was just like, okay, great. Like he obviously trusts what I'm gonna bring to the table.
Yeah, of course.
So I just went in, listened to what Samson did. I was like, all right, cool, let's do what Samson does. But obviously still me, but like let's do what Samson does and adapt to that music and embody, like getting engrossed into that sound of like just a fat pocket, you know what I mean? Just keep it nice. So we did that, come back, went to I think I did, where's the place? Rock in Rio with Jessie J.
I saw
So I think that might be one of my.
all I saw was a sea of people, and I'm like, yo, this is massive.
Yeah, do you know what? I don't really know, to be honest. I know it's definitely over 100,000, but who knows the exact figure?
Yeah.
Because I think they've like reached 250,000 before, you know what I mean? 300,000 people. So I don't know how many was there on that night, but we headlined the Sunset stage, I think it's called. And then Guns N' Roses headlined the main stage, but it's like a flip-flop stage. So you go there to main stage, you turn around and go there, and it's the other stage. So obviously flip-flop stage is one at a time. So however many people was there collectively, yeah, it would have been a lot of people. But that is definitely one of my most amazing memories because I've seen Ginger, Smooth, Bluey, and these guys. I've seen Audibles, you know, do it with Jess over the years. And I'm always just like, man, I want to play Rock in Rio. I want to play Rock in Rio. So to play Rock in Rio was amazing, but it was like the biggest blessing to do it with Jess because that was who I watched everyone do it to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So for me, I was like, man, that I'm playing with the woman who I've always adored since a kid and the show. And now I'm actually like doing that gig with like that was, and I was like, just make sure, Smiley, every chop you execute. And I tried my hardest, and I watch it back, and I'm proud of myself and what we all did. Like,
Do you put pressure on yourself?
I always do. No, I'm always like, I pressure myself, but like also I know what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just a rehearsal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it basically how production rehearsal is. It's that. Do you know what I mean? It's just that there's an audience now because everyone knows what's happening. So now when I go on stage, most of the time it just feels like a production rehearsal with an audience.
Playing the exact same.
I'm playing the same artists. Yeah. It's not new. Do you know what I mean? Like no one's like, oh, that's very surprising. Smiley decided to play for an X-ray. Like it's not. We're not jamming. Do you know what I mean? It's organized. We've rehearsed this. So it was just an amazing experience, and to do it with her and the guys around me, and like Mateus Sasato on guitar as well. Like for the guitars nerds out there, like you know, he's a guitar hero, like a guitar god. Like he's amazing, and so to share that moment with him and Abel on bass, again, phenomenal bass.
Oh, that was a bad.
Sahil was playing keys.
It's a hill. Yeah, I am.
You know, he smashed it. And then obviously Jess, like just doing what she does best, like it was amazing. So that was really cool. And also like just Jess being the very thoughtful person that she is. She knew Joey, we all knew Joey as well, and like we couldn't be at his funeral, and it was at the same time was in Brazil. So, you know, we did our huddle before the stage and everything, and we did our usual talk, and then she was like, let's dedicate the show to Joey. And you know, that those moments will live with me and the guys forever, because we was all very close to him. She knew him, like Joey's auntie Phoebe also used to sing on the gig as well. Of course. So it's like we're all like connected. So we dedicated that show to Joey, so even more special. So that was beautiful. And obviously this is probably the first time anyone's gonna hear that happened, because no one knows what happens before we go and stay there. I mean, that was a documented. So that happened. So that was a big one for me. Then 2023, end of 2020. Well, I worked with Pink Panthers for a little bit, which was cool in 23. Then 24. Oh, and Sam Tompkins as well.
Yes.
Like both great eyes. And it was really cool because I was kind of trying to put out there, I want to work with some TikTok guys.
Like Cat Burns, just like Holden. You're just playing the guitar in your room, and the next minute, you're blown.
Yeah.
That is just mad how the industry has changed. So
Sure.
So yeah. So continue.
No, I just want to say, like those two, that I knew that I wanted something new, something
Something fresh. Yeah.
So that happened, and that was really cool. And then there was a whole conversation about if I'd be interested in joining the band for another artist, and I was like, yeah, for sure. That was like continued, didn't hear anything for a while, and then I got an email just be like, would you still be interested, blah blah. And that gig turned out to be Dua Lipa. So then it's like, wow, like that was really cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's basically bringing us right up to where we are now. So the last year I've done a lot of things with her, and it's been a very, very, very fun journey. Like
You've been working a lot.
yeah, I've enjoyed it a lot. And again, it's something a little bit different. It's like some electronics, some live drums, but you know, again, it's just, this is the part, we play the parts, this is the show, this from this start to finish, everybody knows what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But like I said to you, like in the beginning, I've chosen my moments for each song where I'm going to do something. Yeah. And nothing that I do is like out there, but it might just be something that like follows the vocals or something. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the things that I do, like, because the snare drum's triggered and the kick drum's triggered, you can't really play with those too much.
Yeah, you have to really be disciplined.
Yeah, like I remember like watching something, I think it was like Brian Fraser Moore and Little John Roberts, like, and they were just kind of talking about playing with triggers. But like you got to make sure that your kick and snare is just doing whatever the record does. And obviously you can add things here and there, whatever. But because they're triggered, like you got to be a bit more consistent. So when you do things that are going out of it, you're kind of doing them on the toms that are not triggered, or on the hi-hat or the splash. You know what I mean? It's little things.
Really clever on what you do.
Clever, and it's good because you start thinking a little bit different. So me having that in my mind, I've come into this gig, I'm like, all right, cool, like obviously I'm gonna do what I'm doing. So a lot of the, I guess the finesse or the swag is like on the hi-hats. You know what I mean? Or like a little cymbal wash here or something there. But like it's a simple setup, you know. I've got 2 snares, 2 up, 1 down, 2 pressures of Ryder, 2 pads. I've got a KT10, and yeah, that's it really. You know what I mean? It's nothing wild, but I just try to make sure that I play the show the same each night. Where when we go into rehearsals, when we first started, like I knew, oh well, she sings this, so I'm gonna add this on the hi-hat
To compliment her.
just a compliment, but it's small. So yeah, there's a few little things, or like I might add something to a stop. So like if there's there's a stop in the music, like in Houdini, one of the songs that we play, there's like I think we come off on like beat 4 or something like that. So it's like a jigga 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 1, 2, 3. Okay, jigga 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 jigga, or whatever the beat is. But I could just go okay, but I just do okay. It's small, innit? But it just gives a little something.
A little something to it. Yeah,
There's something on the hi-hat, or like there's another song where she kind of does I think it's an electricity. It's like don't let you go. I wanna let this feeling go. But when she says feeling go, I'll go pss, pss, pss.
Yeah,
But it's just it's something small, you know, like, and that tends to be the way that I bring my personal Smiley character to the music.
I was gonna talk about that because it's so important to add your personality and your style to it. Again, without getting in the way, you know what I mean? And obviously, if they wanted to say something, they would say like, "Yeah, girls, you know what, bro? Yeah, maybe not. You know, can you do something else?"
And again, that's William Bowerman is the musical director, and Charles Monrod is his assistant director and musical director, if you want to call it, and James Trude as well. So like, you know, those guys at WFB, I've got a good relationship with them, and they, I would say that they respect what I bring to the table. I respect what they bring to the table, and we meet each other in the middle. Do you know what I mean? And like, if William's like, "Oh nah, sorry, I prefer if you didn't do that," I'm like, "Yeah, cool. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But I think, now that I think about it, or not now, sometimes I think about it, I genuinely think that this is mainly because of the way that I am, well, how I've learned in the past when it comes to working a job.
Yeah.
Like, when I worked at Waitrose, if the manager says, "Oh, Smiley, Adam,
Yeah.
Adam, can you go and do," I'll be like, "Yeah, cool." When you work normal jobs, you learn how to work in a professional environment.
Of course.
And so when you don't work when you haven't worked in a professional environment, and then you've already done music, sometimes you don't, there's certain etiquettes that you don't learn.
Yeah.
Or you pick them up later on in life. Whereas I've been able to be like, well, I've worked at Noodle Nation, Chinese restaurant, when I was 16, where my manager's like, "Oh, can you like clean the bottom of the table legs and, you know what I mean, like clean the toilets?" And so if William says to me, "Can you not do a drum fill?" That's nice.
Nothing.
So I'm like, "Yeah, fine."
Pleasure.
Yeah, like cool. You know what I mean? I'll just play Billie Jean. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's fine. Keep it simple.
And you know, you learn to love the simplicity as well. Like, don't get me wrong, I think this is just my opinion, and some people might disagree, but I think that when you're a drummer, you should just be able to be across everything. So I want to be able to chop the house down, but I also want to be able to just play the pocket and the parts and do it well. But I don't want to just be like, "Oh no, I'm only going to do this," because what if I get called to play for someone and they want this, and I'm like, flats in Dagenham, and then like, is what flats in Dagenham? That's not enough. I need more.
Yeah.
So you know, need to like, you know what I mean, like do better. Yeah. In my head, do better to be like, I want to be able to do the chops. I want to be able to just hold it down. And if you want like in the middle, then you know, you can get a bit of both. So that's me.
Cool. Yeah, man. Right. We're going to move into a special segment of the show, okay? I want you to name me 5 CDs or DVDs that has greatly impacted your life. One of them has to be drum related.
Okay.
As long as there's something that's drum related, then that's all good.
I mean, boy, that's a good question. I mean, we definitely have to say, I mean, I might have to say more than 5. I'll try.
5.
I'll try and say that 5. We've definitely got Dennis Chambers. That if I could just say Dennis Chambers, VHS, because there's obviously In the Pocket and there's Series.
Yeah.
So let's just say both of them in one, as though it was one long VHS.
Yeah.
So let's just say Dennis Chambers instructional videos, David Garibaldi, instructional video, Omar Hakim, Let It Flow, and then I want to say Usher 8701. And then, man, what's the 5th one? I mean, I've run out of thing, but I'm gonna say Usher live in Puerto Rico, man.
Yeah. Guys, this is just a game. It's just a game. All right. So, I've got a list of artists, past and present. Yeah. The only rule to this game is you have to pick a UK drummer. Yeah. If the artist I've picked just so happens to be from the UK, and there's a UK drummer and you want to keep them on there, absolutely fine. The only rule to the game has to be a UK drummer.
Any age.
Any age.
Cool.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. The first one. New edition. What UK drummer is playing for New Edition? Who's got the R&B pocket?
New Edition.
Yeah,
Do you know what? I think I'd like to hear Matty Brown.
that makes sense.
I think Matty would absolutely smash that out of the park. I'm a massive Matty Brown fan anyway.
Yeah,
I like what he does. But I think I think he should MD it too.
yeah, that makes sense.
Play drums, yeah.
That makes sense. All right, next one. Luther Vandross. What UK drummer is playing for Luther Vandross?
I think I might go Velro Bailey, you know.
That makes
sense. For me personally, I think I'll go as Velro. I don't even, do you know what? It's so funny. I can just hear that rim shot of Velro's being that. Luther Vandross through.
That would be good. All right, Adele.
Adele.
What UK drummer is playing for Adele? Who would you put on? Who can play them ballads? Who can play...
Do you know what? I think I'd go Gareth Brown.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because with Gareth, he plays with excitement as well. So, like, whilst I think sometimes in England, people play ballads and then it can sometimes just be ballads that are played well. But ballads that are played well with a little bit of excitement is a different thing. And I think Gareth brings excitement to his playing a lot.
Yeah.
So I think if he was playing like Chasing Pavements or something, he would just sound sick.
He would.
He would do something that makes it like, ooh,
But that's nice.
yeah. Without getting in the way of obviously
Of course.
the beauty of Adele and everything she does, because she is amazing. I love her.
Amazing. AC/DC. Rock vibe. He's bringing that.
You know what?
Bringing that vibe to AC/DC.
AC/DC. Jesus. I might put myself in that actually, because I do enjoy the rock vibe.
Put yourself up there. Why not?
I think I might. Yeah.
All right. One more.
Yeah. Go on.
All right. I'm gonna change it. All right. What UK drummer is playing for ABBA?
ABBA. Who was you gonna say the artist before?
It was gonna be Coffee, but
okay.
that's kind of like 3 times now.
Okay.
So
ABBA. Do you know who I think would be good on that? Julian Brown. I think you might not hear it, but I think I can hear it. Again, someone who plays songs really well. I know I'm choosing a lot of older guys here. They're not old, you know what I mean? But they're just like, they're my heroes. But like, it's just because I feel like there's a level of discipline that those guys would bring to the music.
Yeah.
While still making it feel fresh and current and exciting.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? So that's just my personal opinion.
Man, I want to say thank you so much for coming on here. It has been a pleasure just to hear what you've had to say.
Thank you,
and I know a lot of people are going to be blessed by hearing your journey, hearing your story. So thank you again. Where can people find you, man?
So basically my Instagram is Adam Smiley Wade. I think it might be the same for my ex, which is Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't really use that, but yeah. YouTube, I believe, is Adam Smiley Wade as well. Facebook is probably the same as well. Again, I don't really use that, and TikTok, I believe, is Adam Smiley Wade or Adam Smiley 95. Yeah. But Adam Smiley Wade is a good starting place for anything if you want to find me. And yeah.
Brilliant. So thank you again. Appreciate that. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode.